All right, let's get started. So the first story I want to talk about this week is the pandemic over? No, of course it's not. But I do want to report specifically on one story that I think is illustrative of why we shouldn't be letting our guard down. So, friend of yours and mine and friend of the show, Lauren Ashcraft, recently came down with COVID. She thinks the Delta variant, although she's not sure. And by the way, she's vaccinated and she didn't know how it was going to affect her partner, so she decided to stay in a COVID hotel. By the way, if you're in New York City specifically, I think it's all of New York State, but if you're in New York City specifically, call 311 if you have coronavirus and you need a place to quarantine. The city will provide you with a hotel for free. This is a great service. If you need to take advantage of it, please do. So, going back to Lauren's story. Now, she was feeling pretty sick when she got sick with coronavirus, but she isn't in really serious condition. And by the way, that's because she's vaccinated, right? This story is not like, oh, the vaccine doesn't work. The vaccine does work. And instead of stopping her from getting the disease, what it did is ensure that she was able to recover and she was able to not be super sick or end up in the hospital. So even though there are still breakthrough cases, and by the way, because Delta variant is so much more contagious than what would be called alpha variant or the original variant of coronavirus, it's still possible, and more of these breakthrough cases are likely. Okay, so just so you know. Also, where she got sick was she was at an event where she was one of very few people masked. Okay, so this, by the way, does not mean that masks don't work, but what it means is, like with vaccines, everyone has to participate so that we're all protected, right? Those people who can't wear a mask or those people who can't get vaccinated, right? We get vaccinated, we wear masks to protect them. So Lauren was wearing her mask, she was being responsible, she was doing all the things that she had to do, but she still got sick, which means that if you are wearing a mask and no one else is, you're actually still in danger. And that can be a scary thought, but it just means that you need to be stern with the people around you. If they're not going to wear a mask and they're indoors, you need to ask them to keep a social distance of 13 feet, okay? I'm about 6 feet and change tall. It's about 2 of me, all right? So you need to tell people to keep their distance if they're not going to mask, or just let them mask, right? And it's much less likely that you will get sick. Now, luckily, Lauren has recovered. She is back quarantining at home. Her partner is unaffected, which is great. But it's important that we get vaccinated. It's important that we get boosters if they're available to us. And it's important that we continue to mask in situations where we're not sure about whether other people are sick. And by the way, especially if you're indoors with other people and you don't know about them, their vaccination status and things like that, it's really important to keep masked. By the way, one other thing that's important to remember is that even if you have 2 shots, 3 shots of whatever vaccine, you can still give the virus to someone else, even if you don't get sick, right? So it's possible that you catch coronavirus in a sense, which is to say that you get the virus, but you don't feel any symptoms because the vaccine is essentially stopping you from feeling those symptoms, from getting sick, as it were, but you can still pass that pathogen on to other people who are not vaccinated. And remember, there are large portions of the population who cannot get vaccinated for whatever reason, right? They're immunocompromised, or the way the vaccine is created is not going to work well with their immune system, or what have you, right? There are real, legitimate medical reasons not to get vaccinated. Any other reason is not legitimate. Sorry, not sorry, okay? So I think it's really important that we use Lauren's story as an example as to how we have to maintain our diligence. So if you're inside with people you don't know their vaccine status, and you don't know whether they're sick, please mask up. And if you're not going to mask and they're not going to mask, keep at least 13 feet apart from you, okay? So I'm about 6 feet from the camera, right? From the camera in front of me, double that, right? So just get a sense, or however tall you are, you can figure out what 13 feet is. It's not hard, okay? If you're going to be with people who are masked, you should still try and keep 6 feet apart if you can. I get it. Sometimes we're just in spaces where that's not possible, but as much as you can, guys, this pandemic isn't over. We are still in a situation where other people can get sick, and we are still in a situation where the virus can continue to mutate because we don't have an equal distribution of vaccines throughout the world, right? And if we did, maybe we'd be in a better position to try and figure out, how to really combat this for real. But for example, China, who kept their cases really, really low for a long time with which what many people would call draconian measures, they have cases again, and even those ordinarily draconian measures just aren't working as well as they used to. So it's really important to remember that, like, there are actually things that you as an individual can do to help stop the spread, right? So stay home when you can. When you do have to leave, make sure that you're protected. We're coming up on the holiday season, right? And in the United States. By the way, happy Diwali to all our friends who celebrate. I hope you had a wonderful and bright festival of lights. But there are holiday seasons going on throughout the world. The festive season, I believe it's in Nepal, or maybe it's Indonesia. I apologize for not remembering which of those two countries is entering a festive season right now. But wherever you are in the world, whatever your festivities involve, typically festivities involve the gathering of people, right? We celebrate together. It's a very human thing for us to do. It is how it is. So at this point, we should be thinking about ways that we can be safe. If you know in advance who you're going to be spending your holidays with, contact them, ask them what their vaccination status is, if they're comfortable telling you. If people are not going to get vaccinated, and sometimes you just won't convince people, or sometimes people can't be vaccinated, right? As I said, make sure that you are implementing some form of social distancing, that you make sure that there is no chance that individuals in your life get sick from having to be exposed to the virus from the holiday season, right? We all want to return to some semblance of normal, but we're not there yet. And by the way, it's very likely that we never get back to what normal used to be. Or if we do, there's always a fear, like with the common cold or the flu, that the disease is just endemic. And by the way, endemic just means that it's a disease that exists amongst the population and it flares up and doesn't flare up. But like the flu, right? So we get annual flu shots, sometimes more than one if there's a big deal. But coronavirus may be the same thing, right? So regardless of what holidays you're celebrating, regardless of who you are spending time with in these next couple of months, please make sure to keep yourself and your friends safe from anything you might be able to spread by wearing a mask and getting the vaccine if you haven't yet, if it's available to you, of course. And for everyone else, please encourage them to wear masks and to keep social distancing. We do, as individuals, have the power to help stop the spread of the pandemic. Please, I'm begging you, for Lauren's sake, for my sake, for the sake of all of your friends and family, please continue to be safe. We are not out of the woods just yet, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be another kind of problematic holiday season if people aren't being responsible. We don't want to see the kinds of numbers in January that we saw last January from the holiday season. As I said, I'm in America. We're moving towards Thanksgiving. For those who follow the Jewish calendar who are in the United States, Hanukkah is coming up right afterwards, about a week or so later. And then, 2 weeks after that is Christmas. There's just so many holidays occurring in this season. If you do gather with people, if you do spend time with people, please, for their sake and for yours, stay masked up if you can, get vaccinated, make sure that you know the vaccination and sick status of everyone you interact with, and just please be safe, guys. It can be really hard if you haven't gotten sick to feel like, that you're doing your part. And I know there's lots of people who are not doing their part and are loud and proud about it, but we have to stay vigilant. It doesn't matter your political affiliation. This is a disease. It doesn't give a shit if you're Republican or Democrat or left wing or right wing or independent. It doesn't matter, dude. No one cares. The virus doesn't care what your political affiliation is. If you don't take responsibility to stop spreading this virus, there's a chance you could catch it. And the longer we stay with this virus, the more chances it has to mutate into some terrible virus that is that can beat the vaccines. Now, we did just get great news out of the UK as far as the coronavirus is concerned, that there is a pill that they're looking at right now, which may be able to, I believe Merck makes it, that is able to treat coronavirus, and in that once you get it is actually a really good treatment for it. By the way, this is not to say you should not get vaccinated. You absolutely should. These pills should be a last resort. But if we can mass make these pills and we can get them out to people, then even if you are vaccinated and you do get a breakthrough case, again, you can prevent it from being serious. The whole point of this whole exercise is to prevent death, is to prevent hospitalization, is to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, our friends and family, and our extended friends and family, which I'll say is our the people who work in hospitals and medical centers who are dealing with coronavirus patients on a grandiose scale, literally on a scale that we can't imagine. So again, I know I'm kind of ranting at this point. Please get vaxxed, okay? Wear masks where you can, be safe, don't travel unless you have to. And as we come to the holiday season, be extra careful, guys. We're going to be encountering people, lots of people, some of which we just, even if you know someone's status, still be careful, all right? We can get through this together. You can save yourself and your family a lot of heartache by not killing off a friend or a family member or getting yourself killed. All right. So do the right thing, social distance, mask up, get vaxxed. Together we can help stop the spread. So please do that. I am begging you.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, throw a like on it, share with your friends, and subscribe for more of our content. You can also find all of our videos and clips on youtube.com. Just search Let Them Eat Bread and you'll find all of our content. Alright guys, see you next time. Bye for now.